Hello and welcome to the Money Management Resource Center podcast. My name is Jacob Johnson. I'm your host today. And today we have with us Dan Patterson. He's one of our awesome and fantastic coaches here at the center. Why don't you introduce yourself, Dan?
So yeah, like he said, my name's Dan Patterson. And originally I'm from Sandy, Utah, which is just north of here. And I went to Alta High School actually, and I played soccer there for a couple of years. It was pretty cool. Growing up, I actually played baseball till I was about 12 or 13, and then I switched over to soccer because I liked how the constant action and there's always something going on, and I really liked that. And after I graduated high school, I worked for a little bit, and then I joined the military where I served in the Army for 8 years. I served on the bomb squad, or EOD, if you know what that is, and it was a really awesome experience. It taught me a lot. It gave me a lot of awesome opportunities. One of those actually is when I was stationed in Alaska for 3 years with the Army, and Alaska was just crazy. A couple of the weird things about Alaska is the cold temperature. The coldest I experienced there was negative 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. And it was awful. I had to drive to the airport that morning, and none of the electronics on my car worked, and I didn't know how much gas I had. I mean, I'm lucky that I made it, but I made it back in one piece, but it was pretty crazy.
Say, if you got stalled on the road there, you'd probably die that cold.
or slide through an intersection, or, I mean, it was pretty wild, but
wow.
It was really good. So another cool thing about Alaska though was all the wildlife up there. So one time we went to do some training and we were staying overnight. And after we got done with our training for the day, we started grilling and, having a good time and stuff. And black bear decided to smell what we were cooking and decided to walk up and see what's going on. And, everybody, it was pandemonium. Everybody scattered. And yeah, bear just walks up. So with black bears, actually, they give you some training and they say black bears are kind of lazy. You want to get big and mean and fight back and everything. And one of our lieutenants did that. And so, the bear went away. But I mean, that was definitely like a pucker type of thing.
Oh my gosh. I mean?
Yeah.
I can only imagine just what it would look like. A bunch of grown men, tough guys freaking out about a bear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because, what are we going to do? What are we going to do against the bear, So.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's cool. So you were stationed in Alaska. Where else? I
was also stationed in Germany for 3 years, right after Alaska, actually. And one of my favorite things about Germany by far was driving on the Autobahn.
Oh, my gosh. I've only heard stories.
Yeah. I love driving my car, period. But driving on the Autobahn was awesome. In stretches of the Autobahn, there's actually no speed limit. Not all over the place, near cities and stuff, there's a speed limit, but stretches of it, there's no speed limit. So you get the Porsches, the Audis, sometimes you get the supercars like the Ferraris or whatever flying past you. Absolutely flying. So you got to, watch in rear view mirror, make sure nobody's going to come and rear end you, but it was awesome. I maxed out my car. My little Toyota goes 110 and that's what I did.
110 miles an hour?
Yeah, man. It's so dope.
Dude.
So, some of my friends bought you could buy BMWs or whatever over there. So some of my friends bought those and we maxed it out at 140 or 150 or whatever. So,
oh my gosh. Can you just imagine just having some car come behind you at 200 miles an hour or something like that?
Sometimes it happened, man. And they get their lights flashing at you. Hey, get out of my way. And you have to get out of the way or, you're in trouble. So,
you're going to be demolished.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
that's cool. What an adventure.
Yeah. Another cool thing about Germany was you get the cheap budget airlines. So you can fly anywhere pretty much really cheap. I could fly from Germany to London and back round trip for $25 in advance if I planned far enough in advance.
$25?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Move to Germany.
Dude, I went to London, 5 times when I was there. I went all over Italy, Rome, Venice a couple times. It was really awesome. So it was really cool.
That sounds like an amazing experience. Being in the military sounds like it'd be phenomenal. I had a bunch of relatives that served or serve currently. One of them's at West Point, so that's really cool that you served.
It was a good experience, man. But
thank you for that.
Yeah, hey, not a problem. So after the military, I got out and started going to business school. Wanted to finish my degree and everything like that. So I came here to UVU to study financial planning and everything, and I like to kind of do exciting things. Being on the bomb squad is a little exciting. And so I got a little bored. And so my friend and I started skydiving actually out in Tooele. So, that's something I'm still doing. I'm actually going to Mesquite this weekend. So I'm really stoked and it's been an awesome experience. So.
Skydiving. Yeah, I can tell you're definitely a high thrill person.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit quiet in person, but it's just weird to see whoa, this guy skydives? This guy was on the bomb squad? What the heck? That's so cool. That's phenomenal. Well, that's awesome. Great introduction. I hope that everyone that gets to listen just gets to know you a little bit better. But anyways, today we're talking about credit reports and credit scores.
Right.
So why don't you give a little bit of background to that? Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, first of all, I wanted to learn about this a lot because my very best friend that I've had since I was 8 years old declared bankruptcy at a pretty young age. And it's really, he's had a lot of money problems and stuff like that. And the bankruptcy really hurt him because it affected his credit score and his credit report. When he was about 28, about 5 years after the bankruptcy and everything was over, he was in a different place in life, wanted to get a mortgage, wanted to get a house, move to that next stage in life, and he couldn't. He just straight up couldn't. Nobody would give him a loan, and it just really hurt him. And so I want to help people learn about this, and I want to make sure that that sort of thing doesn't happen to them, and then they can keep moving forward in their lives how they want.
Yeah, no, it's awful. Having young bankruptcies or other financial concerns is a big issue, and it's the number one reason why kids drop out of school. It's the number one reason that couples claim they get divorced. Right. Money is a big issue. So I'm glad that we have you here to talk about this.
Right. Well, first of all, I wanted to go over what a credit report is. A credit report is just a report generated by one of three different companies that gives detailed information about your credit history. So it'll give information on your credit cards, on loans, mortgages, anything where you basically had to borrow money. And it basically says if you paid on time, how much you had to pay, and it just gives all the information. And, basically it talks about how trustworthy are you with money. If a bank wants to give you a loan, or how likely are you going to be able to repay that? That was pretty bad.
No, that makes sense.
But anyways, that's the credit report. And a credit score is different from a credit report. A credit score is basically just a number that represents how trustworthy you are. It represents the information in the credit report.
So if you compile everything in that credit report, every payment you've had for your house, your auto, your rent for college kids, all those debts, they make that into just one number and say, this is your credit score.
Right. There's three main companies that compile your credit reports. The three companies are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and they'll each compile the information, and the scores might be a little bit different, but they all should be roughly the same, within 5 or 10 points of each other.
And there'll be a quiz on that. You all need to know how to spell Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. If you don't,
we're very strict here.
I'm just kidding. Not just kidding. It doesn't matter. But that's good to know that there's more than just one source. There's going to be three kind of places that can validate each other's information and make sure that's right. But they do vary. They're not going to all give you the exact same number.
Right. It'll vary a little bit. When I've checked mine in the past, TransUnion's always been about 5 points below Experian and Equifax, the other two, but they've all been roughly in the same ballpark. So
yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this. My first time I checked my credit score was last summer, and I was like 620, my number. And since then, it's gone up. I'm about 715 right now. But it's just like I didn't really know. Like, I don't know what these numbers mean. What do those numbers, like, what does a good score look like?
So a good score, the scoring range, I guess you could say, the lowest is 300 and the highest is going to be 850 right now. It's going to change to 900, but it's 850 right now. So a good score, an excellent score, is going to be anything above 720. Okay. Anything above 720. So good is kind of in the 620 to 720 range roughly, and then
anything below that
needs improvement basically. So that's kind of how you can gauge how you're doing basically. So why the next thing I want to talk about is why is this so important? Okay. The credit scores and the credit reports can actually do several different things for you. It can actually benefit you greatly. The first thing it can do is it can help you get a job. For example, when I applied to go into the military, they did a credit check and they checked my credit report and everything like that.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, they do. They do it a lot of times if you need a clearance. So
okay, like securities and stuff like that. It's
right.
Because that's one way you can determine if someone's trustworthy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They don't want to make sure that you owe a bunch of debts and can be easily blackmailed or something. So
yeah,
but that it definitely helped me out because I had a great credit score, and so it definitely helped me out. The next thing is that it can help you get a better rate on a loan, which is really important when it comes to like car loans or mortgages. Specifically with mortgages, if you're going to be borrowing $200,000 and you want the best interest rate possible because it can save you or thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars just by having a better interest rate from having that awesome credit score. And so, that'll definitely help save you some money in the long run, which is awesome because then you can use that money for other things, so.
Gotcha. So people will use that credit score to be like, hey, you're trustworthy with money. We'll give you a lower interest rate on your house because we know you're going to pay it back.
Exactly.
And so in turn, they're kind of giving you a discount on borrowing money because they know you're trustworthy. You're not going to default. You're not going to be a problem when they have to come and get their money. It's just, hey, here's your money.
Basically, yeah, exactly that. The same thing the same thing applies with car insurance rates. It can help you pay less on car insurance. I've never had to use my car insurance, so I want to pay as little as possible. So having a good credit score really helps you out that way.
Gotcha.
It can also help you rent an apartment or a house or whatever from a landlord, which is important too if you want to live in a specific area.
Yeah, and I think about it. I did when I first applied for the place I'm living now. They checked my credit history.
Do?
Yeah, a lot of places will do that.
Yep.
They want tenants who are going to pay and pay on time.
Exactly. It goes back to being trustworthy with money, knowing that you're going to pay when you say you're going to pay. So.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, where would a student here at UVU start if they have no credit score? Like year zero, you've never checked it. Like we do presentations in classes, and oftentimes I'll go in and we'll be talking with kids who knows what their credit score is. Half of them will raise their hand. Who has ever checked their credit score? Half those kids will never have checked their score. Where do you start in getting a credit score?
Where do you start in getting a credit score?
Yeah, or where do you start in building your credit?
Okay. So in building your credit, you want to the first basic thing you can do is you can apply for a credit card. I started when I was 18. I got a credit card through Capital One. It only had a $300 credit limit, which is, really small,
really low.
But, I was 18 and I took what I could get. And after I paid that off for a year on time, they automatically raised the limit to $800. So, proving you're trustworthy and proving, you're a reliable person really helps you out. So if things have kind of changed since 2008, a lot of new laws have been put into place. So if that doesn't work out for you, you can try to get a secured credit card through your banks. Oftentimes your bank will offer it and you can start building your credit card or your credit that way.
A secured credit card, how's that different? I actually don't know much about them.
So a secured credit card oftentimes requires like a down payment or something like that, or you can't have more, your credit limit won't be more than like whatever you have with the bank in your account.
Okay.
So if you have like $1,000 with the bank, then that's what your credit limit's going to be.
Gotcha. So they won't allow you to borrow more than they know they can pull out and take against you.
Exactly.
Okay. That's smart. Then that's a nice way that they can be secured and be able to help you get on a nice journey to a good credit score.
Exactly. It's mutually beneficial, and I think it's an awesome way to help out people to build their credit.
Okay, that's great. That's a good place to start. What are some tips for some of us who already might have a credit card or are going to start? Like, what are other things we can do to make our score look better? So
the absolute biggest thing you can do is to pay it off on time every month. This is the biggest factor in determining your credit score. It's like 35% of your score. This factor goes into 35% of your score. So it's by far the biggest thing. And you definitely want to make sure that you pay it off on time. Again, showing that you're trustworthy and reliable, that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, basically, is what it boils down to.
Smart. So over a third, 35% is just being on time.
Right.
How easy is that? Just do it.
Exactly.
Perfect. What else? Tell us more.
So another thing you want to do is that, after you've been paying for like 6 months or longer on your credit card or whatever, or mortgage or whatever you have, you want to make sure that the credit companies, the Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, are getting the correct information to reflect the work you've done to make sure it's an accurate representation of you. So you want to check your credit report. And you can actually go online and to the website annualcreditreport.com. And each of the 3 companies offers you one free credit report per year. So that's 3 credit reports that you can check every year.
One from each company.
Right.
Okay.
So a smart way to do that would be to check one in January, check one in May, check one in September. That way you can hit all 3 of them throughout the year. And that way you can make sure that all of them have the correct information throughout the year so that, your identity isn't stolen or something else can happen.
Yeah, it's a nice way to protect yourself as well. Because then if you see anything funky on that, you can be like, hey, there's something wrong here. This is bad information. Or maybe someone stole your identity. And it's a nice way that you can protect yourself in more than just building your credit. So that's a nice thing to hit on.
Exactly.
Do it every 4 months, January, May, and September. I need to put that on my phone, on my calendar.
It's a good thing. It's what I've been doing. I actually, I just checked mine in January. So it's been a really good system that I've been implementing. So
action items for all of us UVU kids. If you don't have a credit score, figure out what your credit score is. If you have a credit card, make sure it's being reported to your agency. Go check your credit score. Annualcreditreport.com.
Actually, with one important distinction, I guess, is that the 3 companies offer your annual credit report. They'll give you one credit report per year, but not your score.
Okay.
So the 2 are actually different. The credit report just gives you your
all
history.
the data, yeah.
Right. And then the score is a representation of that data in a number. So to get your credit score, you actually have to pay. It's like $30 or $40, and you can get all 3 of the different credit companies. You can get a score from each of them.
Gotcha. Yeah, or there's services like Credit Karma where they give you like an indicator score. It's got a little bit of a lag to it, or it might not have all the data, but they can soft request that sort of data and it doesn't cost. But
right.
It's not, of course, fully accurate. It's just relatively close, hopefully, to your number.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much for spending time to talk to us about these credit reports, credit scores, how important they are, ways to improve them. It's been fantastic to have you on the program, Dan. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to share with us before we end?
Not really. I mean, that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's more to it than that. I can go into detail if anybody wants to come talk to me about it. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I'm really proud to be a part of the MMRC here and, have a great opportunity to help out other people with their finances. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Dan. Yeah, I mean, please, everyone, come on, visit us in the MMRC. We're just located by the cafeteria. We're WB 147, free service for students. We help with taxes, with student loans, with budgeting, debt management, understanding your credit score. And like Dan said, if you have any specific questions, feel free to drop on by. We're here pretty much every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, and up until 7 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as well. So thank you so much for being on the program today, Dan. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll look forward to hearing from you all next time.